Hello everyone. In today's locomotive profile we're going to be doing is a British Rail electric locomotive. And that is British Rail Class 83. Our electric locomotives were built by English Electric at Falcon Foundry, Natun Willows, as part of the West Coast Main Line electrification. Their construction, 15 locomotives were built between 1960 to 1962 by English Electric at Falcon Foundry as part of the British Rail's policy to develop a standard electric locomotive. 5 prototype classes, 81 to 85, were built and elevated, which eventually led to the development of the Class 86 locomotive. 3 of these locomotives were to have been built as Type B geared for freight trains, but as it was only 2 were so built, becoming E3303 and E334 E3304. The third Type B, E3305, was never built as such. Instead, it was used as a test bed with silicone refractors and transducers, this being the first step towards I keep it pronouncing. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing those names right. Thyrosaur control. It became a Type A geared for passenger trains and numbered E3100. The other 2, Type B, were eventually rebuilt as Type A, being renumbered 83098 and E3099 and E3304. Power was provided by overhead century, energized at 25,000 VAC. Under the pre-TOPS British Rail classification, the first 14 locomotives from E3024 to E3304 were Class AL3, meaning the third design of AC locomotive. The 15 engines E3100 became Class AL3/1. All 15 were included in the TOPS numbering system, being renumbered 83001 to 015. The Polish EU06 class was produced by English Electric at the same time as the Class 83s, and extraordinary, they are quite similar. The class was used to haul trains on the thin, newly electrified West Coast Main Line from Birmingham to Crewe, Manchester, and later Preston. By 1965, electrification had spread south to London Euston. As with the Class 84, The Class 83 suffered with problems due to the Mercury arc refractors. After spending several years in storage, 1967 to 1971, they were rebuilt with silicone refractors as were already fitted to E3100 and dual bar braking between July 1970 to October 1973. The decision to reinstate the 15 engines of Class 83 was a result of extension of the electrification from Waver Junction to Glasgow, which require more electric locomotives, with both Class 83 and 84 being returned to traffic. Only 36 Class 87 were required to build. Later used electrification finally reached Glasgow in the early 1970s, allowing this class to operate the full length of the West Coast Main Line. The last three in service, 83009 and 830112, and last but not least, 83015, were retained for use on empty coaching stock workings from London Euston Station to Willesden. 83009 had previously been used at Longside in Manchester to convert the 25 kV VAC supply to 1500 V DC to allow testing on the Class 506 units following the closure of the Reddish depot. Two engines were withdrawn as a result of accidents. The first was 83003, withdrawn in May 1975, which was severely damaged in the accident on 23rd of January 1979 at Watford, with the Class 86 86209. The second engine was 83004, which on 24th of December 1977 was severely damaged in a collision with the Class 47 at Willesden. In 1983, 10 remaining 13 engines were withdrawn and be sent to Vickbury Scrapyard in Leicester. The final 3 were withdrawn in 1989, with the 2 more 3 being scrapped at MC Metals of Glasgow in 1993. Locomotives always worked on power provided by overhead catenary. However, the main transformer, normally operated with 4 winding in series, could be operated at 6250 AC VAC with transformer windings in parallel. This voltage was initially used where limited clearance gave concerns over use of higher voltage, since the clearance were found to be upquiet. The lower voltage connection were locked out of use. Since all of them were scrapped, only one has been preserved, and that is 83012 E3035. So only one has been preserved, and it is unlikely it will be operating anytime soon, because there are no excursion locomotives that run on electric throughout the system. And that's it for this video. Like and subscribe, and I'm going to be taking a break on locomotive profiles for 10 days, so I'm going to be taking a break on those videos on locomotive profile for a while. See you later, guys.